Hello everyone, welcome back to Sophisticated Bakes. If you're new here, my name is Sophia and on this channel we're learning how to bake together. Today's recipe is one I'm really excited to share with you because we're making a rich, soft, moist and incredibly delicious banana chocolate cake. So if you've got some ripe bananas lying around and you're wondering what to do with them, don't throw them away just yet. Let's get to baking. Starting with our dry ingredients, into a mixing bowl I added 3 cups of flour. So one baking tip I always like to share is to always sieve your dry ingredients because it will help remove lumps and it will give your cake a lighter and smoother texture. Next I added half cup of cocoa powder for that rich chocolate flavor, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, and finally 1 teaspoon of salt. Please always remember to sieve. Then I set my bowl aside while I prepare my wet ingredients. Now for the star of today's recipe, the bananas. I used 10 small bananas because they were on the smaller side. If you're using larger bananas, you may not need as many. I transferred them into my blender and I blended them until they became smooth and creamy. You can also use a fork to mash your bananas until they are smooth if you don't have a blender. Moving on to our wet ingredients, in another bowl I started with half cup of brown sugar, half cup of white sugar, then I added half cup of melted butter, 3 eggs. Please always remember to break your egg in a separate bowl. Then I went in with 1 teaspoon of chocolate flavor. Then I mixed everything together and finally I added 1 cup of buttermilk. I mixed everything together until it became smooth and well combined. Once that was ready, I poured my blended banana and I mixed it again until everything came together into a beautiful and creamy mixture. And I set it aside. So now it was time to bring everything together. Firstly, I used my spatula to mix my dry ingredients properly before adding my wet mixture into the dry ingredients. Using a spatula, I folded everything together gently until there were no streak of flour. Now this part is very important because you don't want to overmix your batter. So I continued folding and folding and folding everything. I was finally done, and as you can see, our batter is so thick, smooth and perfectly chocolatey. Before pouring in the batter, I prepared my baking pan. I greased it generously with butter and I toasted it lightly with flour. This helps the cake release easily after baking and it prevents it from sticking to the pan. Then I poured part of the batter into my already greased baking pan. I added some brownie pieces in the middle. You can use any topping you like, chocolate chips, chopped nuts, or you can simply leave it plain. I chose brownie because why not? You can never have too much chocolate. After adding the brownies, I poured the remaining batter over them and I finished with a few more brownie pieces on top. At this point, everything was ready for the oven, so I placed my cake into my preheated local oven and baked for about 1 hour 15 minutes. And here it is, my homemade banana chocolate cake. Just look at how beautiful it turned out. I was honestly so excited to cut into it, and the first slice did not disappoint. This is definitely one of those recipes you want to make again and again. If you enjoyed watching this recipe, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on your notification. I'm also still learning too, so if you have any baking tips, feel free to share them in the comments so we can all learn together. Thank you so much for watching and see you in our next feast. Bye.